For anyone who's a parent, for anyone who just has a heart, any human, a driver under the influence who ran over a 7-year-old somehow is getting light charges. Look at this sweet, sweet baby. Oh, God. It's in Georgia. 7-year-old Logan Sharpe was struck and killed by Dalton Cason, 26-year-old white man who was under the influence of fentanyl and cocaine, according to a toxicology report from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. But Pierce County prosecutors have refused to charge him with vehicular homicide, which would be the appropriate charge under state law because he was driving while under the influence of drugs, according to a Georgia criminal defense attorney. It was only after the boy's family began talking about the case on social media that Cason was even charged with misdemeanor driving under the influence. 9 months after the deadly incident and 3 months after the results were finalized. Yeah. You see, this is what Ahmaud Arbery's family had to face in rural Georgia. No charges unless people start picking up steam. Shouldn't be like that. This little cutie was loved, valued, just not by everyone. The incident took place May 19, 2024 in Patterson. That's a rural town in southern Georgia. Population less than 1,000 people. Everybody knows each other, said McBride, who lives on the same block as her granddaughter, the boy's mother. Shante Sharpe said she was doing chores when her 4 children asked to go outside and play, including 2 sons and 2 daughters, with Logan being the youngest. I said, y'all clean up the house and then I'll let you go down the street and play, she said, which they did. So she gave them permission to play outside. Minutes later, her oldest son, Keyshawn, came running into the house in a panic, telling her that Logan had just been struck by a truck. She ran out of the house down the street, saw her son lying face down in the street. I run straight to Logan and I'm screaming, she said. I get to him and the first thing I do is check for a pulse to see if he was still with us. But the moment I touched his neck, I couldn't feel anything. And my heart just broke. That'll never be repaired. That will never be repaired. He had a gash on his head. His arm was broke. There was vomit and a little bit of blood on the road. His hip was split. Like you could see the white meat. So I'm screaming, and a crowd starts to gather. She said she was in a daze, but eventually walked up to Cason, who was standing outside his truck further down the street with a white man and woman, possibly his father and wife. I looked at Dalton and said, I know you did not mean to kill my child. At least apologize. Say something to me that you acknowledge me. But he did not acknowledge me. He stayed looking forward and didn't say anything. He didn't look at me one time. The incident report filed by Trooper Middleton stated Cason not only moved his vehicle prior to investigators arriving, he was also given the choice to do a blood draw, which he agreed to do. It also appears the Georgia State Trooper who responded to the scene lied in his report to protect Cason, twisting the words of an eyewitness who later provided a signed statement contradicting what the deputy had attributed to him in his report. So if that's true, I'm no lawyer, but that smells a lot like obstruction of justice, probably tampering with a witness. I don't know. It sounds like it's corruption. Let's just leave it at that. Georgia State Trooper Chase Middleton claimed the 81-year-old black man who was sitting on his front porch when the truck struck the boy had told him the boy was standing in the street when he was killed in an apparent effort to blame the child for his own death. But the black man wrote a signed witness statement saying he had told the cop that Locke had been walking on the sidewalk when he was struck so hard that his body flew in the air and landed on the street. How could you mistake that detail? Because you probably didn't. Indicating that Cason had driven upon the sidewalk when he struck the child. Another witness who showed up after the crash wrote a witness statement saying that Logan's older brother, Keyshawn, was very distraught, repeatedly saying that the truck had driven on the sidewalk. He came on the sidewalk and hit my brother. He came on the sidewalk and hit my brother. She quoted him as saying in her signed statement. Another witness signed a statement saying she overheard the black man telling the cop the child was on the sidewalk prior to being struck by Cason. Middleton, though, whose wife is Facebook friends with Cason, claimed the opposite in his report, which is why Cason was never charged with vehicular homicide. Well, probably one of the reasons. Family also accuses Middleton of turning off his body camera during the investigation, which may be true considering there has been no mention of body cam video in any of the reports. Damn it, we just want justice. Accidents happen. Are we trash? It's rhetorical. I know what some people think, not as much as your baby's worth, huh? Middleton submitted Cason's blood to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation on May 28, 2024. The results came back October 29, 2024, showing he tested positive for cocaine, fentanyl, benzoyligonine. I can't pronounce it, but I can tell you it's a metabolite of cocaine. However, the family did not learn of the results until December. Why the delay? And it was only when Imamu, the founder of Journey Black Foundation, got involved and started posting about the toxicology reports on social media in January that led to Cason's arrest on a misdemeanor DUI charge February 2nd. This guy is so dangerous. If this stuff is true, he's so dangerous. Even the delay in having him out there, he should have been charged on the witness statements alone. All those people, were they conspiring to, blame an innocent person for a child's death? And this is somebody carrying a badge and a gun. I don't feel like he would have been charged if we wouldn't have went to social media with it. Yeah, ask Ahmaud Arbery's family, said Shantae Sharpe. They didn't charge him until we put it on Facebook. And it started getting traction. Everybody started tagging the police department and the sheriff on Facebook. But the bottom of the toxicology report states that biological evidence, body fluids and tissues, and proof determination evidence will be destroyed after 1 year. Which is concerning to the family because May 28th marks exactly 1 year since the GBI received the blood test, even though it took them 5 months to finalize the results. You see, folks, you have to understand that it's not demeaning or accusing all law enforcement, but you have to understand the inner workings, not just in small towns, but they work collaboratively, right? Prosecutors, officers, wives, events, just like any other industry. Just like any other industry. It's not so difficult to understand how they can collaborate on corruption. Happens every day. Meanwhile, the family is trying to raise money for an attorney in their fight for justice. The link to the GoFundMe will be included in the description of this video. I just keep that up there. I love you, Logan. Do you know how much I would love to have a little boy like this? And I don't mean to take away from his mother who loves and misses Logan, but how can you look at that picture of what could have been? Logan could have grown up and cured cancer, world peace, Gaza, the Middle East, I don't know. Or he could have just been a really good person who lived a happy life and had his own kids. And not only is he struck down and killed in a brutal, disgusting way, the way the mother who laid eyes on her baby described those injuries, you blame him for his own death. When I'm driving and I see a dog nearby because they can make sudden movements, guess who slows down? Let alone children. You don't have to be a mother to know that. Sickos. Well, is it your turn? I'm just disgusted that we're here again. I kept mentioning Ahmaud Arbery because this is the exact same thing. Everybody knows each other. You're a trooper and you see this, do us all a favor and just say, I can't investigate this one, call somebody else. These people are cowards and they lack humanity when it matters most. What say you?
I mean, the level of bias and negligence here is on an insane level. Obviously, there's no bigger tragedy than a parent losing a child, especially this young. And to a guy who was high off of his mind and behind the wheel of a vehicle and runs over a kid on a sidewalk damn near. It
Can't even say
basically
sorry. I'm sorry.
it's nuts. Like this is about as bad as it gets. And it was crap because they took 9 months to charge this thing. Like this is not the kind of thing that it takes 9 months to charge if you're serious about it. They clearly were trying to brush this thing under the rug. And the idea that this family would get zero restitution is just so crazy. And anyway, like this guy won't have to pay for his heinous crime. And I'm not saying, put him in jail for 100 years, but man, something, you know what I mean? Like, again, people can be addicts and make horrible mistakes, but at the same time, there needs to be consequences for your actions, even when you are sick. And the idea that this guy would have no accountability for being responsible for the loss of life of a child this young. I mean, this is about as sick as it gets, but I really do hope they're able to get some level of justice here.
Even an accident you can say sorry for, right? But
Oh, of
it's
course.
wouldn't you be distraught? Now, maybe he's high out of his mind, as you mentioned. But listen, do you remember when Derek Chauvin was first charged? And Ellison had to take over the case. It was like, third degree murder. For 9 minutes, you're kneeling on Mr. Floyd's neck. You killed him and lied about it. And you want to charge him with some ticky-tack. They didn't want to charge him at all. This delay tactic, we'll just wait on, the blacks, the activists, they'll get tired. They'll get tired. And by the way, we're not worth as much because we don't feel pain, which is why they operated without any anesthesia, any painkillers on young black women to kind of figure out how reproductive systems work. We are less than human in the eyes of certain people. If that were a 7-year-old white boy laying there, that trooper Middleton, probably would have been in tears. But the blacks up and down that street who witnessed the horror and loved just like white people do, can you imagine? We love our children too. Who had to see all that. Their witness accounts weren't reliable. He lied on them, lied on the boy. I didn't see anything here about comforting the mother. And then let's slow walk this thing. I don't care if the GBI troopers, I don't care who's involved. They're all capable of this twisted inner working where there's tiered, it's not just 2 tiers, justice system that works for some, like reality trash box TV stars who steal from everyone and giggle and get out of it with their plastic surgery daughter on television, thanking the president for making America great again. Or Logan. We wish the family the best. This is one we'll follow, of course. Thank God for independent media.